Hey everybody, Scapegoat here, and today we are going over my new series. I am your tour guide from the YouTuber world, and we are going to be learning about communities and how important they are for people who want to start up channels, or even, have communities, even not for Yu-Gi-Oh!, for any other means, video games, card games, sports, whatever, what have you. But feel free to watch and learn how to build a community. We're going to be starting with Discord today, and for the future we will also be doing stuff like Facebook and groups, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all those sort of things. So feel free to subscribe below, and a lot of the relevant information and links I'll also post in the bio below, so you can click those as well. So without further ado, here you go. So in order to start our community, we're going to need Discord. So obviously we're going to go to discord.com. And from there you can either just download for Windows, Apple's is similar, and if you do have a phone, all you have to do is go to the App Store and look up Discord. So now we will be creating a server. The server is primarily going to be the best means of having a community. To make a server, all we have to do is click Add a Server, and from there we can go create a server. And you're gonna want to name it something relative to your community or your brand or how you want to appear. For this purpose, we are just going to do test server. And you can also add an image if you want. It's also good to just have a test server in general, due to you wanting to test out new things to a server before it going live on your actual server. So it's just good to have in general. So we're gonna go to create, and then obviously from there you get to see your server. It's all created, and it'll give you the option to invite people you already know, as well as to create a link to invite other people through your social media or other means. We're not gonna use this currently. Obviously this is a test server, and if it's going to be your real server, you don't really want to invite anyone until it's done. So we're gonna exit out of that for now. So as you can see, it is pretty empty, so we're going to change that. We currently have two channels over here. One is the text channel and the other being the voice channel. So from here you can just kind of click the create a channel plus sign and make a few channels. So if you want to have, some typical ones like rules, right, you can do that. We can also take this general channel for now and kind of name it to welcome. Right, it'll be useful for later. So we have a welcome, we have a rules, probably info if you have any info, any links you want people to click on, right? And then maybe we'll even add one for bots, right? So we can click that. You can see they're all there. And same thing with voice channels. You can pretty much just go to the plus sign and click the voice channel and then call it a voice channel of your choice. So we're going to do art for this purpose, the art voice channel. So you have two things. You can just go in there and do whatever. Obviously, I will be talking in these. So that's pretty much it for that. And then also, like, you can just hover over them and kind of place them how you'd like. Obviously for this channel you're going to want all of your information kind of looking nice and how you want people to click on them in order of how they see it. So if they're welcome, that's the first thing they're kind of going to see. Rules are something you want them to see, and then once they're all done with that, you got info, and then pretty much everything else from there. Next up, primarily channels, right? So we have the channels, the channel for voice. Let's go ahead and make a category which can help diversify some of the channels. So we can have things like, the welcome section, as well as general section and stuff for other bots, moderators, stuff like that. So let's just make a general section, right? And we can place that above the voice channel, and we can even rename the category by going to the edit, and we can even type this as server info, just to diversify it. And then you save it, and then so you have server info, then general. You can make a general channel. For text, just type in general discussion, And then you can even put the bot command down here. We can use that for later. So you can see it's kind of looking a little more clean when we separate them, as opposed to just having them all in one little section. And it's definitely going to make for a cleaner look for when people want to look for different things in the channels. Another little tidbit, if you want to add some things to the name, we can go to edit channel. Obviously we have this name, pretty plain looking, but if you do press the Windows key as well as the period key on your keyboard, you get the emoji key. And from there you can kind of like explore what you want to do. This will actually make your Discord look a little, you know, stand out more, I guess. You can put a taco there or something, right? Just to display it how it looks. So over here it has a little emoji of a taco. So if you had a food section, we can put a taco next to it, you know, stuff like that. And once you do all of that, obviously you can see in my main server, we kind of have everything looking pretty nice as terms of names. So it'll eventually look like that once you're done. The next thing we're going to work on are the roles. Roles are the thing most people like about Discord. It kind of differentiates people on the right side of the screen. Obviously we only have myself in here and we don't really have a colored name, so we can go ahead and change that. All we have to do is go to the server settings, and then the roles is the second option. And from here we have the roles of what everyone can do. This is the general default role. And from here we have all the stuff. For one, you want to make sure most of all is ETS is off, which it is, right? It's off by default. And then also the @everyone command, if we can find that right over here. We don't really want people adding everyone, as kind of a little annoying thing to have in a Discord where everybody can just add everyone at will. You kind of want to save that for moderators and admins as needed. You don't really want to spam that unless it's for videos, or even for specified roles. You can have the bots or whatever add those instead, as opposed to everyone. We can make applicable roles to people that want to be notified for things, as opposed to everyone. We don't really want to upset everyone and have them leave the server. So if we want to add a role, all we have to do is click the plus sign, and we can do admin, right? We can do pink for admin, do moderator, and we can do blue for that. In addition to that, we can do bots. They can be brown or whatever. We can add a role for later. This is going to be just a test. This is going to be artist. It can be whatever you want it to be. This is going to be for later, and we're going to obviously take the TTS off, and as well as the add everyone off, because we don't want that on, and it's already off, so that's good. We're not going to make it a colored role. This is going to be for later as an example. So let's go ahead and save our changes, right? All of that stuff's good. We exit out, and in order to apply those changes immediately, all you have to do is hover over your name. You can just left click, and then you click the plus sign, and you can assign any role you want. So admin, and it'll automatically change you to pink, obviously, in accordance to the color that you picked. And if we go back to roles, you can kind of see how they're laid out over here. These are in accordance of how you distribute these roles. They'll show up on the left. So if you have admin here, they're going to be at the top on the actual Discord server. But if we had admin and pushed it down over here, admins would show up on the bottom. We obviously don't want to do that, so we're going to leave it as is. But if we assign roles to people, obviously on the right side of this server online page, it's going to show them in accordance to how you have people with roles on. So now that we have all that settled and some roles diversified, let's look into some permissions and all of that stuff. So let's, for the sake of this, make an admin room, right? So obviously we have an admin room. We don't really want people going in there or reading anything. So we can go to edit channel, go to permission, everyone. This is the default tab for everyone. So we don't want them creating invites for that channel. We don't want them doing any of that stuff, reading messages, sending messages, ETS, managing messages, nothing. So pretty much just shut everything off for that channel, right? And this is only if you want to do an admin room or a moderator room, and then we can apply admins in there, and pretty much admins get the opposite side of the spectrum. You can give them anything they want to do in here. You know, probably not TTS, but for the sake of it, you can literally just put everything on, and you can read each section, seeing what you want to do per this section. So that would be it for that. The add everyone's would not be able to read or send any messages in there or do whatever, as opposed to the admins who can go in there freely and type in whatever they want to do. And obviously you can add more roles and play around permissions and do anything to that regard. And if you want to do the similar thing to roles, obviously rules rather, you can go into the section again with the add everyone, and this time you don't really want to click everything off, but you do want to make it so they can read messages, so they can't send messages, and obviously anything else that's applicable that you don't want them doing in the server, right? So pretty much that's all you really need to do for that, obviously, and then just read anything else that you don't want to occur in that server, and that should be good. Nobody will be able to post anything aside from admins or like moderators, if you want to put them in where they're not really affected by it. You can put read, send, and all that stuff. So you just click save, and that should be good for that. So now that we have all of that set up, let's look at some bots that we can add. Certainly we're going to want to apply some bots to the server. Bots are very useful because they have a bunch of functionalities that can make server life a lot easier and more fun in some cases. So let's check out the a few bots that we want to add. Obviously this is the Discord page. So we can do some Google searching for bots, but obviously these are the three I would recommend for starting out. We have Me6, and we have Fredboat and Dino. So I can post those in the bio below. If you want to read the bio, I'll have links to all of those just to make it a little easier for you. But all you have to do is click the add to Discord. It'll show up a few servers. Obviously you want them to go to the test server, so we can go setup. It'll ask for permissions and where to go. It's going to go to test server, and that is fine. It's going to ask for all the permissions. Obviously we're going to want them to do everything, and click I'm not a robot, as far as you know. And it'll be sent to the Discord, and you can see it here. Me6 is on the right side. He is above me. Oh, that is because we did not do one important thing. Obviously we want to, in the role section, display separately from online members, which is a very big thing to add. So let's just do that for every role that we want to do and want to diversify. So we can go ahead and click all of that, and now we can see, as an example, it'll diversify admins from online users. And since this is a bot, we can add the bot role, and it is now the bot role, and that's pretty much that. Let's go back to the bots, and we can see Fredboat over here. The add to Discord is right here. This is a music bot. This will be able to play a bunch of music, but we'll get into that later. So we're going to select the server we want it to go to, and it's going to go to test server, and it will be sent after we designate that we are not a robot. And then the same thing for Dino. We're going to go to add server on the top right. It's going to ask the same thing, what server it wants to go to. We're going to send it to the test server and give it all the rights to do whatever it needs to do, just so it works perfectly. And that should be sent to the server as well. So once we go back to the Discord, they're all here, and you can see on the bottom in the welcome section, this is why we changed it to welcome. It's going to show everybody who comes into the server and kind of tells who they are. And then we can go over here and kind of give these people bot roles. Obviously you can see what happens when you give them roles. It'll separate them from online user to bots or any type of thing that you give somebody. So they're all bots, so we're going to make them all bots. And now we can get into the general customization of the bots. So let's head back over to Me6 to start. Me6 is actually pretty cool. Me6 does allow you to go to levels, and we can enable levels by clicking on it and allowing the plugin to work. But generally, by default, this will be activated. You can pretty much type and keep typing. It's based on how long you're on the server for. and how much you're typing in the server. And once people are doing that, they gain levels, as you can see right here, rank 44, level 12, as an example. And you can kind of make incentives for people to talk by adding roles like level 10 per se. So people will kind of be more incentivized to talk in the server, and then also be rewarded with a colored name or a role, whatever you want to do. And you can kind of distribute that when you need to do. So let's go back to plugins. We do have some other ones. Let's see, we have a welcome message that we can always add. We can do send private messages to users when they join, which is pretty cool. I usually do this on a different bot, but if you don't want the other bot, you can definitely do this. You can just click it and then kind of send a customized message to somebody when they join the server. Same thing with messages when they join the server, and giving roles and all that stuff. So you can play around with stuff, kind of see how it goes. And then we do have the Twitch and YouTube settings, but we can work on that a little later when it's a more relevant time to do so. Currently we can go to Fredboat. After you do the addition to Fredboat, it'll have a list of commands right here. We can click that. You can kind of explore what Fredboat can do. So obviously it's a music bot, so once we are in Discord, if you enter a voice channel, and you go to, let's say, a text channel while you're in a voice channel, you can kind of use codes in order to play music. So I believe the code was that and play, and then you just type in a song, like let's say for the sake of it, Demon Slayer opening, right? And then it'll kind of talk back to you. I obviously have to be in the voice channel for this, but I don't want the music to play. Obviously I'm on YouTube right now. So that'll kind of show up, and it'll tell you what to do right after that. But it will work, and it will send you the music in order to play. So we do that. We have play, and you can put the URL, or you can just type in whatever it is after it, and it'll play the music. You have skip, and you have stop, pause, all that stuff. So it's pretty useful to have a music bot on the server. Obviously, you want to have this in a server for general use, and kind of, if you want to separate like we did for admins, where we can have an admin only voice chat, we can do that as well. So people aren't going into your thing and posting music when you just want to have a quiet Discord server. The last bot we can look at is the Dino Server. The Dino Server bot can do a bunch of things. If we go to the modules, right? This one we can do auto roles, which is very cool. So let's make sure auto roles is clicked, and then we go to settings, and then go to Joinable Ranks. So in Joinable Ranks, we want to make sure that we're adding ranks that we want people to join. These are ranks that people that are normal users can add themselves. So we don't want them to be able to add themselves as a moderator, an admin, or even a bot. But we did put this as a test, so we can put artist, right? And then add. And the artist is right here. It is added into the rank, and we can go back to Discord, and it gives you the little code right here. You can type in !, rank, space, and then whatever the role is that you want to apply. So we do !, rank, artist, and then our bot tells us that we've joined the artist section, which it shows up right here. So very useful bot. If you don't want to give out a lot of roles, you can assign them, and it should work that way. So if this shows up, you can press exit right here by clicking the purple streamer mode, and then it'll take you here where we can enable streamer mode or disable it. So let's disable it, and then we can go back to connections. Obviously now it will show everything that we're connected to. Obviously I'm already connected to a bunch of things. However, there are a bunch of things up here that we can connect. If there's anything applicable for you, all you have to do is click it and then provide the information that it requests, and then make sure everything is appropriate and links up correctly. Obviously my Twitch channel is right here, so it'll show up right here, as well as my Twitter and everything else, YouTube. So that's it for that. Now once we have all of that set up, we can exit out of here, and we can actually go back to something like Me6, right? We can set up Twitch and YouTube now. Or you could have done it before, it doesn't really matter, but it's just good to be on the same page. So for this, you can search your YouTube channel. Mine is Scapegoat. So we're gonna go youtube.com/scapegoat. And that'll load up a bunch of people who have similar names. Ours is right here. And then it kind of gives you an @everyone command with your YouTube channel and just posted a video. So it'll show up in a designated channel that we want it to. If you don't want it to say @everyone, if you want it to say something specific, like for example, we could call mine the Goat Gang or whatever, and then you can have a role called Goat Gang, and then @everyone @Goat Gang for them to see the video if you don't want to bother everyone in the server with your video. But also after we do that, we want to make sure that we're sending it to a server where it is a channel rather that is ready for this. So we do want it to go into one of these servers. I would recommend maybe an announcement server just so everything can go in, but we can just for the sake of it put it in the info server and then save it, and it should be all good. You can also add more channels with premium. Obviously this isn't free, but what we just did right now is free. And then you can do the similar thing with Twitch. You can enable the plugin, do all the same stuff, look up your channel, do all that, and then save that as well. So now that we have all of that ready, another additional thing that we can do is go to the test server, go to settings, and from here we can go to integrations, and it'll show up with your Twitch if able to, if it's applicable. Usually if it's for affiliates you can do it this way. You can click the sync button and it'll actually provide a subscriber role for anyone who is subscribed to your Twitch. It'll automatically apply it to them if they have these settings applied to them. So they have to go to their user settings and synchronize their Twitch with their Discord in order to receive this benefit. But we can set this up right here. It'll sync everything. We can do a remove role with a grace period. So if they lapse on their subscription, you can give them a grace period for however long you want them to keep the role for when they're done with their subscription. If you want to remove it, they can always resub to you and get the role again. So that is fine. And then we can also do this, which is allow synced subscribers to use your Twitch custom emoticons in Discord. So that's always good. It's a good incentive for other people to want to subscribe to you, and they can use the emotes they get on Twitch on Discord. So obviously you see mine right here. These will be able to be used in other Discords. We can test that out later. But another additional thing we can do in relation to this is add our own emojis. So these are specific server emojis. They're not limited to the Twitch. We can just go to upload. It'll show whatever screen on your computer. For my little sake of whatever, we're gonna go to the Mega Man, and Mega Main, or rather, it will show up here. And then we can keep doing that. We can keep adding our own little custom emotes, you know, trophy, the Royal King, all that stuff. It'll all show up here, and that's all saved. We can exit out of it, and then once we go into a server, we can go where we want to test it. They all show up here. So the test server has all my emoticons, so we can click on them and post them freely, and they all show up. So that's very good. And in order to test to see if the integrations work, we can click on our name. Obviously it does say Twitch subscriber, and then it'll show the highest tier subscription you are. I'm tier 3, obviously, being the owner of my Twitch. We can go to server settings, go back to roles, and it'll show all the Twitch subscriptions right here. If you want to give these some colors, so you can typically just, you know, make these whatever color you want. These will be the same. We can go to tier 2. Make it, let's say, you don't want to make them too close to admin and mod colors, but we can do like purple, and then we can do orange for that. And then obviously you're going to want to place them pretty high. If they're subscribing to your channel, they kind of deserve to be shown at the top. 3 would probably want to be at the top, then 2 and 1. Then you can obviously click these to diversify them in the chat, because we want to display them differently. And then we click save. Everything should be good. Now the Twitch subscriber is in different colors, so that's definitely good. Anybody who is a Twitch subscriber that joins will have the color automatically approved, or if they're already in the server and they weren't a subscriber before, all they have to do is subscribe, and it should take a few minutes. Like anything, if anything does not appear immediately, it'll take a few minutes to apply, so that is fine. So let's test out the new emoticons in other servers. So let's click on a random server. Let's go to head-to-head battle. We have this server, so we can click on the emoticons. So obviously in our test server, any emotes that you can't really normally use, you can see my other, emotes that I have subscribed to, or my other servers. We can't really use because they're grayed out, but since we are part of the Twitch and Discord synchronized little thing, we get to use all of the emotes that are listed here completely fine. So they're all there. We can press enter and they'll show up. I obviously don't want to disrupt the flow of conversation, so that's fine. And that's that for that. So one of the other final things to do before inviting people to your server is to, for example, let's go to our completed server over here. This is a server that I've already worked on and it's all good. Obviously you can see on the right we have the separated little integrations for people who are YouTubers, for admins, people that have special titles for awards, bots, and then online users. But we want to make sure our rules and our roles and all the other sections are very neat. So obviously you can kind of take example what we have here. Just, format it correctly, make sure everything's good. We have a bunch of stuff going on. We have an affiliates tab, welcome for people that check out the channels. We have all the URLs for people to see. And then that's pretty much it for that. So once everything is all set to that regard, we can go back to our test server, and you think everything's all set. Everything's starting to look a little like this. Doesn't have to look exactly like this, obviously. You want to put your own personal little flair to it. Obviously, it's cool to have all of these emoticons or whatever's relevant to whatever channels you have. We have a bunch of things related to our channel for Yu-Gi-Oh! Any other card games, memes, a bunch of other stuff. You can definitely take little hints by this if you want to do something similar. And then you can go back to your test server, obviously make sure everything's looking like that. Everything's all set up for when you make a real server, or if you're using a real server to make this, feel free to do all of that. And then we can finally invite people. So we go to the top left, click invite people. This is where you can obviously invite all of your friends. You click it, they'll come to the server. Then we can either do that or click edit invite link. The default expires in 1 day, so we want to make sure to have a never expiration date as well as a no limit for max use. Generate the new link, copy, and that is something that you can just typically have and that people can click to join your server. Make sure to put that in other places like your social media or wherever applicable. You don't really want to spam this in other people's discords. That's one way to get people mad at you. Make sure you're putting it in appropriate places. Another thing is, if you don't really know how to format on the Discord platform, there's a bunch of codes that you can look up. Just Google how to type or how to do stuff on Discord in regards to typing. So control and enter will, shift and enter rather will give you spaces to work with, as opposed to just typing enter like you would normally do on a paper, and we'll just enter that. But you can, just shift and enter is your best friend here. And there's other things, like if you want to reference a channel, you can go to hashtag, and then it'll show you a bunch of channels that you can reference. So we can reference the rules. If somebody has broken a rule, have them refer to the rule channel. They can click on it and it'll take them to the rules. So that's it for that. And that's really about it. So obviously you can check out other Discords and kind of get a little sense for what people have in their Discords. Obviously, you can see how they set theirs up, if it's a little different, and kind of get some ideas from them. Obviously, some people have their preferences and different setups to theirs, but definitely check out other friends or other people who have Discords and kind of get some ideas from them if you want, borrow some inspiration from them and kind of, you know, help use that to help better your community, I would say. But that's about it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Definitely keep in touch for any future videos. We're going to be working on some more community series where we can look at how to make a Facebook group, you know, Twitch channel, kind of clean everything up so you have everything perfect and ready for when you want to make a big community, or if you already have a platform and a social media, something to look at so you can, you know, get everything all nice and ready for your community to go to, because community is a very important part for someone with a social media. You definitely want somewhere where all of your fans or all your friends can go and kind of just talk. And it's like a very powerful thing to have because, you know, you can just post videos and people post in your comments, but you don't really have a community to go to just to talk and like they get to know you a little better. But yeah, that's about it. And other than that, we can work on like Streamlabs and kind of get streams going too, and YouTube Live, and pretty much the preferences for all of that, just so everything's all set. So definitely keep in touch for that, and feel free to subscribe if you aren't subscribed. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, so if you don't like Yu-Gi-Oh, don't feel obligated to subscribe. But if you want to learn more about the community and making videos to help better your community, feel free to keep watching. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.